Another kill successful. I'm popping this Deady. Look at that minimap right there. So I guess someone on my team called it a UAV. So that just kind of confirms what I just said. I don't know where the enemies are. I'm just basing it off of the probability because of my teammates being on one side of the map. And then that means that there's a higher probability that they're going to be on the opposite end. So this is what happened right here. This is how the situation unfolded. We moved out here was because I have protection from my Overwatch Hilo. And number two, again, my teammates are all out here. Do I want to waste time sitting in this building, you know, just waiting for people to come by? Of course not. I have the Hilo. Let's take advantage of it. I know that the objective is here. And also pair that with the fact that I know the enemies are most likely coming in from here and we have a UAV as well. So we could play a little bit more aggressive. This is one way to like flip the switch from being reserved, holding down an area, to playing a little bit more aggressive because we can. Okay, so this is how you pretty much rotate, know when to rotate, when to be aggressive. Lots of activity going on top of me. So I'm actually going to try and take out a few people at the hard point. Call in this UAV. Give me some confirmation. All right, that was a point of entry. We paid attention. Another point of entry. So basically, again, I'm a security guard working my rounds. But like I said, every time I get a kill, I want to confuse you. That's why I don't stay up there too long. Look how deep we are into their spawn. They're literally spawning around us right now. So that minimap is my best friend. All right, everybody, let's go ahead and get this breakdown started. Make sure you have a pen and paper out, take them notes, you know, use your phone, whatever it may be. So we're going to be pausing here and there throughout the video just so I can clarify some decision making that I be making, because there definitely needs to be some context, or else you guys aren't really going to learn anything. So the first few minutes of this match were absolutely stressful. You know, I kept dying and dying and dying. And the main reason why a lot of people do die, including myself, is because we get way too ahead of ourselves. We are very impatient. We just want to rush around the map and challenge everyone with our egos. And that's really not the way, man, especially when you're going against stiff competition. You can't just go around doing what you want to do. And even if you do against, you know, go against competitions that's not really that great, you can still get caught on the wrong side of things if you're not making the best decisions possible for that specific scenario. So I'm going to give you guys a couple examples here of what exactly I mean. So the reason why I'm kind of pushing aggressively here is because I am trying to establish position in this little house right here. The reason why is because I know that this is where they're currently spawning in from. So despite me making the best decision possible there, you know, calling in my dead silence, there was just literally a guy just waiting for me at the top of the stairs. So I'm taking mental notes. You know, I'm not just dismissing exactly what happened there. That's something that you have to do, is take notes of where you die, how you died, and by whom. How many enemies were there? You know, does it make it safe to come back to the situation? So look what I do here. I actually come up top, on top of this box, instead of going up the stairs, because I knew that there was somebody right there. So there's many different ways that you can approach a situation. As long as you adapt to it, at the end of the day, that is how you can approach the same scenario without really putting yourself at risk to failing in the same manner. So again, we died, but it's okay. You know, this isn't a video on how to go flawless or anything like that. This is just a video on how to adjust your playstyle and do a little bit better. So those situations, like, I mean, yeah, I don't know if you can hear that frustration there in the background. I'm human too at the end of the day. So I popped my dead silence here. You gotta pause it. So I popped my dead silence here because in my previous video, I talked about the minimap, and if you take a look at your teammates where they are right now, so they're clearly on the opposite end, and this is the kind of situation that I want to be in if I want to get into some meaningful flanks, because my teammates are here on this map, so that must mean that there's a higher percentage that the enemies are going to be right here, directly in front of them. So where am I positioned right now? I'm pretty much in a position to get a good flank here. So that's why I pop my dead silence. It's just so that the enemies do not hear me, and any chance that they do. All right, so regardless, I'm pre-aiming. Pre-aiming is the biggest thing that you can do in this game. I know it sucks. We have to do that. Now, see what I did here? I actually checked the stairs first before I ran up there, just to make sure that I don't die to the same person. doing the same exact thing because I took that mental note. I heard this guy's footsteps. I pre-aimed the stairs. And I'm looking at the minimap as well. This is how I'm able to spot whoever this guy is. From this moment on, I'm constantly looking at the minimap, regardless if it doesn't work the way that it did in the previous Call of Duties. So my teammates are right here. We'll call it a lane. So if my teammates are here and they're clearly looking forward, it just makes the most obvious sense if I'm trying to flank and trying to get some easy kills to stick to the outskirts of the map, push around, and try to attack the enemy from behind. Because remember, they're most likely going to be directly in front of our teammates. If my teammates are not dying in this area right here, then this gives me more confirmation that I can go ahead and push left and go around for the flank. So that's what we're going to try and do. So before we do that, obviously, I'm always pre-aiming. Pre-aiming. Okay? Okay, so in that situation, obviously, I died in that gunfight. But the fact that I was pre-aimed, you know, who knows? Your luck might be better than mine. Boom. See? You can't just push the map as you see fit. You have to pre-aim in lines of sight, areas where there's points of entry. Make that a habit. How you do this? Keep playing the game. You know, you can also go into private matches. There's private matches available that you can play offline and you can practice if you really, really want to improve and do better without risking your stats. So this situation, obviously, like, I shot him first. I died. You know, it is what it is. That's just Call of Duty at the end of the day. That doesn't mean that, you know, I did something wrong. I actually did all the right things. You can still do all the right things and still lose a gunfight. You know, that's just the reality of it, especially with a fast TTK game like Modern Warfare 2. So I'm looking at the hard point right now. Obviously, they have it captured. And I see that I have my teammates, one right here in the corner and one right here to my left. So I'm kind of like directing my attention right here in the middle. So let's see how this plays out. Okay, so now that the hard point is gray, that tells me that the opponent actually died. So, you know, those little cues in game, you have to pay attention to. So this goes for like domination, kill confirmed. I pointed out in my previous video, I was actually holding down an area on a different map, playing kill confirmed, and I had a teammate's tag floating on the minimap right there. So all I did was paid attention to the tag. And if it disappeared, that would actually tell me that there's an opponent there. Using these small little visual cues to your advantage is going to help you out in the long run. Just makes you a better player. I'm actually looking to go for a flank here. I'm not exactly sure if there's going to be opponents. I'm just basing it off the positioning of my teammates. So the reason why I went around here again is because, you know, I'm well aware of the spawns. Like, I know that they spawn in this area or in this area right here, but they're not likely to be spawning around here because this is where my teammates are. So that's why I went ahead, again, stuck to the outskirts, and I pushed the opposite side of the map. Boom, we got a kill right there, pre-aiming. Another kill, successful. I'm popping this 𝗧𝗘𝗦. Look at that minimap right there. So I guess someone on my team called it a UAV, so that just kind of confirms what I just said. I don't know where the enemies are. I'm just basing it off of the probability because of my teammates being on one side of the map. And then that means that there's a higher probability that they're going to be on the opposite end. So this is what happened right here. This is how the situation unfolded. So I'm using my stim shot. Stim shot is something that I really enjoy using. If you use it correctly, you know how to time it correctly. This could do wonders for you in situations where you're trying to get out of a gunfight to heal yourself faster and then get back into the gunfight, or give you more confidence to push away from a situation. You know, if you don't want to get one tapped and you're trying to get out of a situation where you're outnumbered. Dead Silence 2 is another field upgrade that I do talk about very frequently that you guys should be using, especially with footsteps being incredibly loud. The most basic of Call of Duty players out there will be able to predict your movement if they hear your footsteps. It's as simple as that. So take away those small advantages by using Dead Silence and Ghost as well. Then you're going to be feeling like you actually stand a chance. Again, pre-aiming. This is exactly where they spawn in from. I still have my Dead Silence activated, so this gives me a lot of confirmation to push even more aggressively. Okay. I actually heard that guy's footsteps. That's why I turned around pre-aimed. So now, in this situation, I'm actually going to be expecting them to be pushing, okay? So this one is actually another little small tip here. It's more of like a psychology type of tip. If I was holding down this area, which I am about to show you how I do it, and I keep repeatedly killing you, psychology tells us that you're going to want to come back and get me out of there. It's just human nature, right? So I'm ready for that. I'm expecting that. If I was the opponent and I kept dying to myself, I'm expecting opponents to keep coming back for me to try and take me out of this area because of the frustration. Okay, so you got to put yourself in the opponent's shoes. So let's go ahead and play this. I'm pre-aiming, I'm listening for footsteps, and the cool thing about Dead Silence is as I killed my opponents, it actually resets. So that's like the cool part. So I'm going to peek out here. Not really going to go too deep into their spawn because I don't want to get shot from areas that are out of my control or out of my sight. So this is a good example of being passive aggressive right here. So check this out. Notice how I get the hit markers, but I don't really continue to pursue the guy. You know, sometimes that's like the best thing that you can do. You don't always have to chase the kills because there will always be more opportunities next if you're patient enough. And plus, if I continue to pursue that guy, look at this minimap. There's 2 enemies down right here. You think if I kept on trying to like fire at that guy, you think I would survive? Of course not, because these 2 guys, they're eventually going to catch on and catch me off guard. So again, pre-aiming. Points of entry. We got our Overwatch Hilo, which by the way, I quickly realized is a crap kill streak, depending on what map you're on, obviously. So now I want to move on to the portion of holding down power positions. So this is clearly a power position right here because number one, you get all access to like high enemy traffic areas. Like basically this whole area right here. And then also their spawn, you know, if they decide to spawn here, you have plenty of lines of sights, you know, from here to here to here, etc., etc. And you're on higher ground. Higher elevation makes it a lot harder for the opponents to kill you simply because you're higher off the ground. It's simple as that. So when you're holding down areas, you always want to check every point of entry, every line of sight. Point of entry will be, you know, doorways, etc. And when you get kills, you want to be hyper aware of everything. You don't want to just stay in the same spot. Yes, technically, I'm still staying in the same zone, but I'm not in the same spot. I'll get a kill, but then I'll move upstairs. I'm going to try and trick you because I know you're going to want to come back for me and kill me. So that's how you have to really approach the situation. All right. So the reason why I actually moved out here was because I have protection from my Overwatch Hilo. And number 2, again, my teammates are all out here. Do I want to waste time sitting in this building, you know, just waiting for people to come by? Of course not. I have the Hilo. Let's take advantage of it. I know that the objective is here. And also pair that with the fact that I know the enemies are most likely coming in from here and we have a UAV as well. So we could play a little bit more aggressive. This is one way to like flip the switch from being reserved, holding down an area, to playing a little bit more aggressive because we can. Okay, so this is how you pretty much rotate, know when to rotate, when to be aggressive. So I'm looking at the minimap again, making sure we're not going to get flanked. The spawns don't get flipped. That's what I'm looking out for. I do see some opponents up here, but I'm not exactly peeking out there just yet. So notice how I kind of like take a quick peek out there. I don't really expose my position too much. I'm always undercover because you see how fast you can die in this game. All right. I'm always double checking the spawns just to make sure we don't get flipped. Okay. Clearly, they have the objective here. So I try to peek this quick in and out. Now, I know I mentioned to use the ghost perk, but I'm actually using the quick fix perk here, mainly because I was actually going for some B-roll for my top 3 M4 class setups video. This was supposed to be the aggressive one. And I figured, you know what? Actually, this is a good learning lesson for you guys. So that's just the reason behind that. So like, as you notice, it's pretty simple, right? Like once you break it down, you make the game come to you. You simplify your gameplay. You don't really overcomplicate it. Things just seem easier. I mean, look at that. I'm just doing the same thing. I'm just going back and forth, right? I'm just checking. I'm working my rounds. I'm like a security guard, okay? I like to call it like a spider web. I'm a spider, right? This is my entire web. If I am checking every part of it, then I'm going to attack. Simple as that. This is my territory. So part of my territory and protecting my territory is making sure that every part that could be entered here is going to be well protected and secure. So that's why I go back and forth, checking every line of sight, very hyper aware. We're not just sitting in a corner. You know, that is not fun at all. You don't feel, it doesn't feel rewarding, man. It doesn't feel like you're doing much of anything. You're literally just sitting in a corner, leaving it up to random chance that somebody happens to pass by and you kill them. There's nothing that is to gain from that type of playstyle. All right, so obviously, like I said, you could do all the right things, but you could still die. Boom, right there. I got caught up right there. It's okay. We're doing a lot better now. The confidence is going up. And that's what you want out of these kind of videos. Take them notes, apply it, build your confidence. I've been reading the comments, guys, and you guys have been definitely, you know, benefiting from these videos. So this is a pretty precarious situation right here, actually. So all right, so I take out this guy. I actually heard his footsteps, which is why I kind of waited there patiently. When you hear footsteps, like, it's best to just slow your pace, because if you hear theirs, they are most likely going to be hearing yours. All right. So in this situation, I actually didn't expect this at all. So what I did was actually drop shotted just to get ready for this engagement, and then I retreated. So obviously, like, the guy spawned over there most likely, so that's how I got destroyed right there in that situation. But nonetheless, those are little things that you can do as well. You know, change your controller settings. Actually, watch my video on the controller settings for how to drop shot. I specifically go over it in that video. Basically, long story short, it's tactical button layout. Use your right stick to drop shot. All right, so check this out right here. Lots of activity going on top of me. So I'm actually going to try and take out a few people at the hard point. Call in this UAV. Give me some confirmation. All right, that was a point of entry. We paid attention. Another point of entry. So basically, again, I'm a security guard working my rounds. But like I said, every time I get a kill, I want to confuse you. That's why I don't stay up there too long. Look how deep we are into their spawn. They're literally spawning around us right now. So that minimap is my best friend. So I'm going to try to reestablish position once again so I can see what is going on. That's the best part about high power positions. You get a nice little bird's eye view and understanding of what's going on. Let everything develop before you make irrational decisions. Again, it all comes down to patience. So I'm double checking, making sure they don't spawn behind me again, because, you know, I'm taking into consideration. I'm taking into consideration where my teammates are. So I'm pretty much I'm very liable to attack if they start to spawn behind me, because remember our theory of probability. If our teammates are opposite, we're likely going to be seeing some opponents around us. So there's actually a situation that happens right about now. Okay. Again, teammates right here. What does that tell us? Opponent's probably going to be around this area where I'm at. Boom. Right there. Opponent right there. He just spawned right there. So that kind of confirms exactly what I was saying. So they're probably going to be spawning in around here again. It doesn't hurt to check. Remember, it's not about knowing where the enemies are. It's about doing the right things so that in case that they are there based on our theory, we're going to be ready for it. So, you know, keep it simple. Don't try to overcomplicate things. So again, I am looking at that minimap, sticking to the outskirts. So we just pretty much rotated fully around the map. This is their spawn. Notice how I don't push their spawn. I don't want to push their spawn because that will just cause a lot of confusion among myself and my teammates of where to expect the enemies. Never push their spawn. That is how you gain a lot of map control, actually, is just kind of securing the perimeter outside of their spawn. Pushing it is just going to create a lot of confusion, guys. Never do that. Also, don't try to triple cap in domination. That's also going to be a big red flag and precursor to just not being aware of where everything is. Because the game already takes away our senses. So, you know, why create more confusion? Let's make the game easier for us. So the game is actually coming to a wrap here. And Not really doing anything fancy here. I'm just kind of, again, still sticking to the outskirts of the map. Basing my position based off of my teammates where they are at. I'm pre-aiming here. Because why? Based on probability, I expect the opponent to be there. And as you can see, we definitely were correct in that situation. Again, guys, it's not about really just, you know, knowing they are there. It's just about doing the right thing. Hopefully you guys did learn a thing or two. Let me know down below in the comments if you did, and what kind of specific tips and tricks you would like to see in the future. But yes, I would like to make this a weekly series so that you guys learn something each and every Tuesday. Call it, you know, Tips and Tricks Tuesday or whatever. So yeah, if you guys do support the series, make sure to leave a like. I appreciate it. And make sure to subscribe to make your way back to the channel. Joe Turbo Nation today. Make it official. And yeah, have a good rest of your day, and I'll see you guys in the next one.